winning it this year?
Well, I hope he wins it. I hope he wins it. Just because yeah, I mean I would consider him the favorite. Absolutely. If you have to pick a favorite, it's hard. It's hard to pick someone else. Having said that, obviously there's so many great players, incredible talents, and they put together for 1 week. It's anything can happen, right? That's sport. But I would definitely put him as the favorite. And if I had a choice of someone to win it other than myself, obviously, then I would put him as my as the hopeful for the title. Just given he's had a tough year or so, obviously with what happened in the past. But just yeah, obviously amazing that all the top guys are here now and that he's part of it.
I was going to say,
Oh, it's tough to say because I feel like there's a lot of depth, and I mean I would love to see Ons do well. Ons Jabeur, she's an amazing player, smart player. I'd love to see. Actually, Sabalenka was playing some great tennis in Adelaide last week as well. So she could go on a big run as well, and so I would say yeah, but there's a lot of depth. There's a lot of depth on the women's tour, so it's one of those things where you never know who's going to have their breakout run. I don't think so. I think he's so motivated already with his ambitions in the sport and just in life in general. He's obviously a very, very driven individual, which is not something you need to hear from me to know. You can see that. I don't think necessarily it'd be extra motivation. I just feel like I said, I just feel like every time he's playing a Grand Slam, he's maximum motivated. So, but I do think that I do think he's going to have a great year, and I don't think anything that happened recently will affect him in a negative way. I think he showed that with how he played at Wimbledon last year. Just speaks volumes of his character and how strong he is as an individual. It's very, very impressive. That he was able to bounce back like that.
sure.
Yeah, actually, I haven't. I mean, I haven't seen him strike the ball. Not that I haven't actually seen him play the last month or so. Um, and sometimes when you see these guys or Rafa specifically, sometimes you can just see it leaves the racket a little bit differently, and you're like, oh, like he's really feeling the ball well. And so I obviously just him being Rafa, clearly he's got great chances of winning as well, and it would have to be right up there, right below Novak as favorite, I would say. And what other players I would put in that category? I think right below Novak and then Rafa. I mean, there's a handful of guys that are kind of these dangerous young players that I wouldn't say a crapshoot between which one of those could come through and win it, but I would say there's 4 or 5 that are all in that category that if they go on a big run and they get hot, they could win it. I mean, Medvedev is clearly one of those guys. Tsitsipas is another. There's many. I mean, even my opponent Felix, had a great run. Obviously, I would love for him to lose in the first round against me. So, but there's lots of young talent out there, and I would put Daniil. I would put Daniil just with how um, yeah, I would put him as probably my third choice, as third favorite. But and obviously can't forget Nick. I mean, Nick is such a wild card. If he obviously showed that he can string a lot of these matches together at the Grand Slam level at Wimbledon. It's just so talented. Like I love watching him play. Honestly, and I know probably 95% of people in the world do as well. But he's just so unpredictable and so much talent, so much power. It would be very cool to see him win a Grand Slam title at some stage. But again, I myself would put him in the category also of one of those players that if they get really really hot, they could go all the way to the end.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I would say very difficult because when you're moving up and you have nothing to lose, no one's really expecting anything of you. You're playing loose, relaxed, your mind is free. And then suddenly, you're signing all these endorsement deals and I wouldn't, and I know a lot of people will say, oh, it's all these distractions. I wouldn't say it's distractions. I would be surprised if Emma in this case were distracted by endorsements. It's not that. I think it's just suddenly it's just this, extra layer of pressure and distraction in your own mind, not in terms of, not wanting to do well. There's no doubt that, she's working extremely hard and trying to get, I just think, it's just something that you haven't been exposed to before, that suddenly you have to kind of learn to deal with. And if you've never faced a situation like that, it takes time to learn from that. And then, that's just how, with anything, not even in that situation, but with anything in life, that's just how it works, right? I mean, you kind of, you learn, you get better at it, and then you kind of adapt and you find your solutions. And then next time it doesn't affect you as much because you've gone through it already. So I guess I would, I don't know anything about the insides of that, but that's what I would imagine were to be the case.
Sure. And